All right, let's talk about something that never gets old. Rowan Atkinson being an absolute menace to society. This man has a gift, a truly special, almost supernatural gift. He can walk into the most normal, boring, everyday situation and completely destroy it. No explosions, no big setup, just him existing and somehow leaving a trail of chaos behind him like it's nothing. We're talking hotels, restaurants, road trips, hospital waiting rooms. Nothing is safe. No place is sacred when Mr. Bean walks through the door. So let's get into it. Here are some of his best moments where ordinary life stood absolutely no chance. We're starting with a classic, an all-timer, Mr. Bean checking into room 426. From the moment he steps up to that reception desk, you already sense it. Something is coming. You don't know what, you don't know how, but something is definitely going to go wrong. He gets his key, heads upstairs, tries to settle in like a normal human being, and then notices his room has no ensuite bathroom. His neighbor's room does. And Bean, being Bean, pulls an actual power drill out of his suitcase and drills straight through the wall to use it. The whole hotel shakes. The manager comes running. The neighbor can't get into his own bathroom. Meanwhile, Bean is in there having a lovely wash, completely unbothered, yum. But it doesn't stop there. He ends up copying his neighbor's entire meal at lunch, panic eats a plate of rotten oysters just to keep up, and pays for it badly with severe food poisoning. Then, in a feverish state, he wanders the hallway to complain about noise and gets locked out of his room, completely naked. He then has to hide from staff and guests around the entire hotel with absolutely nothing on. This wasn't just a hotel stay. This was a hostage situation for everyone in that building. Mr. Bean didn't check in. He terrorized the entire floor. Next, Mr. Bean decides he deserves a nice, quiet dinner out. Spoiler alert, it was never going to be quiet. He sits down, looks at the menu, and orders steak tartare in the most chaotic, nonverbal, Bean-ish way possible. Then the waiter brings the house wine. He takes one sip and casually announces he's driving, like that was information anyone needed before the wine arrived. But the real turning point, the happy birthday celebration at the table next to him, everything goes sideways so fast. One moment the restaurant is calm, elegant, civilized. The next, there's food involved in things food should never be involved in. People are reacting. And Mr. Bean is just sitting there, completely composed, mouth barely moving as he tries to quietly apologize while the disaster unfolds around him in slow motion. That right there is the genius of Rowan Atkinson. He creates the chaos and then acts like he showed up after the chaos, like he's just as confused as everyone else, maybe more confused actually. Pure unmatched comedy. Now this one from Mr. Bean's Holiday, and honestly the whole movie is a disaster waiting to happen, but this scene specifically is something else entirely. Somehow Bean ends up stuck in a car with a Russian filmmaker and a young boy who has essentially been accidentally kidnapped. There's a national manhunt happening across France. Police are involved. It is, by any definition, an international crisis. And playing over all of this dramatic movie dialogue about pain, heartbreak, infinity, broken souls, the whole thing, the contrast is genuinely unhinged. The Russian guy is spiraling about missing his film premiere. The manhunt is closing in. And Mr. Bean, he's just sitting there, calm, unbothered, looking out the window like he's on a pleasant Sunday drive through the countryside. This scene works because Bean doesn't escalate the madness. He just exists inside it, completely unfazed. And that somehow makes everything 10 times more chaotic than it already was. You could drop this man into any situation, a war zone, a presidential debate, a space shuttle, and he would find a way to make it both worse and funnier without saying a single word. And then there's this one, possibly the wildest of the bunch. Mr. Bean goes to the hospital. Should be simple. You go, you wait, you get seen, you leave. That's how it works for normal people, not Bean. Within minutes, he's stealing queue numbers from other patients. He's running around. He's causing confusion. at a level that a waiting room simply was not built to handle. There's even some bottom pinching involved, which, look, I don't know how we got there, but we did. And it's somehow still funny. The waiting room, a place where people are already stressed, already uncomfortable, becomes complete and total disorder. And meanwhile, everyone else is sitting there wondering what just happened to their morning. This is textbook Menace behavior. He's not being cruel. He's not even really trying. He's just existing. And somehow that's enough to send everything into free fall. So what actually makes this man so special? Because there are plenty of comedians, plenty of funny characters, but very few who operate at this level. Here's the thing, Rowan Atkinson doesn't need volume. He doesn't need big stunts or loud punchlines. What he has is something rarer, complete physical control. Every eyebrow raise, every confused head tilt, every moment of misplaced confidence followed by instant regret. It's all precise, all intentional, and all absolutely devastating. He finds the one small thing in a situation that a normal person would quietly ignore, and he pulls on that thread until the whole situation unravels completely. And I think that's why these moments still hit so hard after all these years, because there's something deeply, honestly relatable about Mr. Bean. We've all been in a hotel, a restaurant, a waiting room, and felt that tiny, chaotic impulse, that little voice saying, what if I just... Mr. Bean actually does it every single time, and we love him for it. So that's Rowan Atkinson, a complete menace, a comedy legend, and genuinely one of a kind. Which moment got you the most? The hotel floor he terrorized, the restaurant he turned into a disaster zone, the international incident in France, or the hospital waiting room he absolutely dismantled? Drop it in the comments. I want to know. And if you're here for more Mr. Bean, more Rowan Atkinson, or more comedy legend content in general, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got more coming and you don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.